Hello, everyone. All right, so welcome to. All right, welcome to Draken Memoria. For those joining us for the first time, greetings. It's a pleasure to have you with us. For those returning, welcome back. It's a pleasure to have you with us again. And for those wondering what this is about, in case, I don't know, you just click on the first live stream you could find, this is about watching a group of people playing Dungeons & Dragons. So if you don't like this, well, too bad. You're stuck with us. Now, as you might have noticed, we're short one player. Don't worry, he's just a little bit late, stuck in transit. Suppose he said he would be here in roughly 10 or 15 minutes. So let's hope the gods watching over those who traveled not only watches over this party, but also those playing the characters. So, last episode, we joined the party as they started their travel around the island of Estron. Made a little bit of travel along the road, deciding to mostly try and avoid major roads, as they would have been forced to sleep on the side of the road quite a few times. And with a cult chasing them, they felt it wasn't the best of idea to be this exposed. By traveling on secondary road, not only do they avoid having to travel at night, but they also, most of the time, will find their travel ending in an inn before the night is over. So, added benefit. Last time, we got to see, for the first time, the dynamic of this group, as they will most likely be for a while, especially while they are low-leveled. And we got to see that some actually act a bit like children. Some might have a little bit of trouble with speaking with an inside voice. And some are just shady.
I don't know who that is. That has to be the paladin.
I'm with the inside voice.
That'd be Toby announcing to the whole place about the candies.
Yeah.
And then audience, just in case nobody, somebody missed it the first time there, he had to emphasize that's the most sketchy thing I've ever heard.
Exactly. So, that was interesting. Of course, it's always helped with the reputation when someone wearing the colors of the paladin just blurs out that this is very sketchy from a member of his own group. Always helps with the reputation. But fortunately, they are traveling on secondary roads, so might not get the audience very fast. And just as they were about to retire for the night, they heard rumors about problems in the next city, city called the Greening Hills, which not a city, just a small community of herders mostly. There have been rumors of livestock getting eaten or stolen, and reports of goblins in the area. So the party decided to maybe check it out. See if they can't find a little bit of glory, a little bit of gold, and maybe a new animal to pet. And
Priorities.
yes, of course. And this is where the episode ended. So, as you all get up from your nights of rest and find your way out of your room, you find your way quietly stumbling out of your bed, out of your room, inside the corridor leading to the lower floor of the inn. Valtteri, Audience, and Trevor, what do? You do notice that Tobiashi seems to be a little bit more groggy than usual. Maybe didn't have a good rest.
Well, are we all like? I guess we.
You just
all
woke up. You
came
just,
out of the rooms all at the same time. I guess pretty much, or
I didn't say you did, so you could have gotten out of your room at different times.
fair enough.
First one waking
Yeah.
Well, so far
Figured
you've
you'd
pretty
always
much
be.
all said that you are early birds, with the exception of Trevor. But since he did
Well-
go to bed a little bit early, he might actually be up close
Yeah,
to
and I
yours.
didn't drink 2 pitchers of wine last time before I rested
helps.
either, so. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess if I got up, I'd go see if Val was still in her room or went back downstairs first or not.
Well, it depends on how early you get up.
Let's see. No, it wasn't that early. Well, rolled a d6 from like 12 to 6 a.m. and it was like 1 at first, and I'm like, no, I didn't get up that early. So last one was 5. So I'd say I got up probably at the crack of dawn.
All right. Valtteri, when did you wake up exactly?
again, the same time when the sun is slowly starting to rise up.
All
but
right.
also
I can barely hear
You're a little
you.
quiet too.
God damn it.
Turned it down a little too much, trying to reduce it.
Better?
Yeah, and I'm not hearing the background noise either, too. So yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
So she wakes up, of course, when the sun is starting to rise, but she's also then doing her meditations and changing her spells.
All right.
So that is what I'm gonna do.
So, would you like to do this inside your room, or would you prefer to have a contact with nature, which means you probably got out of the inn very early, found a quiet place, and then started your mostly quiet contemplation of nature?
I would have went out, and when I was finished with that, went back into the inn.
All right. So, since Trevor got up extremely early, he probably catches you as you are trying to quietly make your way down the corridor to the first floor. What about
I
you,
will stop.
audience? When do you get up?
I would wake up a little later today. I think due to the fact that I drank a bit last night and kind of
Alright.
passed out in my room. So probably like 8
Had a
8 or 9.
Trevor.
All right.
Like 8 or 9.
So, Valtteri and Trevor, you meet up in the corridor as you hear from one of the room audience snoring. The good snore of someone recovering from maybe just a little bit too much ale.
Like, yeah, that sounds familiar. Well, since he's obviously no, leave me for a minute. I was gonna say if you got a minute, I wanted to talk to you again a little bit. After you waking me up last night, my brain wasn't quite working, so I wanted to clarify a little things and possibly ask for your assistance with something.
Sure.
Okay. And you just Well, did you have something you wanted to do first? I mean, was you coming or going?
I was about to go out to meditate, but I can do that later as well. So.
All right. All right. And he'll just go back to his room. So, follow me for a second. I don't want to really have this conversation out here in the hall. So.
Sure. And I'm following, tiptoeing to not waking the other people sleeping.
Yeah. All right. Well, we get back to the room. He just said he'll say, well, like I said, my brain wasn't quite working right, last night. So, I wanted to expand on our courage conversation a little bit. Just that not so much you find your courage, but the path that that would lead you to it will probably reveal itself eventually. Just like with me, when Othar saved me and offered me the path to the school, with all the reading I did, it was a lot more obvious to me. So, maybe it'll, yours might not be quite so obvious, but I'll still help you find it and follow it the best I can there. But I know you asked me about, and he's not wearing his jacket either. He's wearing his shirt, and he actually rolled up the sleeves back up to about here. He's packed up his jacket and put it in his bag. But he said, I know you asked me about the scars, and after you asking me about it, I got to thinking, and I don't remember having the scars before my sickness, but I do remember it after. So, Othar saved me, so I never really questioned it if it was like part of the treatment or the cure or something like that. But I didn't want to. I wasn't going to take it for granted he did save me, but I was going to see, since you're like a healer, could you have a look at all of these and see if you could tell if they were caused by magic or something? Maybe help me understand what might have happened?
I could try, but I can't promise.
Okay. Well, yeah. I'll get weirded out. Just figure I'll let you have a look at the whole picture. And she does take off his shirt because they're like all over his chest and stuff too. So he'll just sit down, hold his arms out, let you do what you need to do.
All right. So how are you going to examine him?
I would guess with medicine check.
Yes, actually, I was going to ask you first, are you going to examine him? I didn't hear you say, yes, I will. And I didn't want to force you into this.
I mean, I just said I can try. It's
All right.
Figuring out.
Well, I can try.
I would take that as a yes. We'll at least have a look at him. So that's
It's
why I went
like,
ahead and started.
So
It's
are
like
you...
yes, I can look, but I can't promise to figure it out.
Right. So are you going to give him a thorough medical examination to the best of your knowledge, or just superficial little examination, just, not hesitant to touch?
Yeah, I got no idea.
You are a healer. You have most likely treated wounds before, because you're a druid, from animals, from people. So it's not something that you would necessarily be shy about.
No, I would go look thoroughly through all the words.
Then, in that case, yes, it would be a medicine check.
So just please warm your hands up first.
I'm a tiefling, they're always warm.
Yeah, true. I was going to say, maybe that thing you did to me at the carts where you helped me investigate, maybe something along those lines might help you clear your mind like it did me.
Can I also use, I just rolled, but am I still able to use guidance as well on myself?
Yes.
After I rolled.
That is what Trevor was trying to
ask you. Trying to non-meta it, so...
Yes, you can. It says a creature. It doesn't says a creature other than you.
Okay, so that would be a d4. And that's a 2, that would be 16 plus, I think my medicine is a 6.
Yes.
So that's 22.
22.
Math.
That's good. All right. Well, 22 is very good roll. Let me check how good this is. Yeah. All right. There is a lot of different types of wounds on his body. Some of them are very shallow, sort of like you would expect from someone trying to make its way through thorn-infested brambles and stuff like that. So things that are very shallow, superficial, might have been something that he brushed on, but a lot of it, most of it is very superficial like this. There are some that are a little bit deeper, not life-threatening, but they are methodically. Sorry.
I have the same
We
struggle.
got what you say.
Methodically made. So usually when you see this, it is either someone made it on him, but because they're so well placed, they're not. They don't appear to be defensive wounds. It does mean that when they happened, he wasn't resisting it. So he was either tied down, restrained in some way, maybe magically, maybe not. You're not sure, but those wounds are definitely. He didn't resist them when they happened.
Can I? Can I also?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Can I also identify if maybe with what weapon or?
Weapons? No. Most of them appear to be mostly slashing and piercing.
Okay.
On his wrists, wrists and ankles, there are deeper cuts, cuts that you've often seen on animals stuck in traps in the woods, trying to force their way out of it. When you encountered those animals years later, they'd still have these marks around them. So those
Of
are
the string. Or...
most likely made from trying to break free from restraint. A few of them do appear to be the result of probably fighting, but there are very few, and these ones seems to be older than the rest. One actually is a bit different than the other. It does appear to have been made with the intention of severely injuring him. It is on his chest, and oddly enough, you can find another one at roughly the same place on his back. That does appear to have been made to be life-threatening.
Do I see if it's like near the heart, or would it be more like above a lung? Or...
From the place where the wound is, you'd say that it was either made as something to be a punishment, because if it was a punishment, that would explain why it is so well placed just between the heart and the lung. Or it could be a blow hastily made, thinking that it was fatal, and it was just luck that no major organ were hurt.
Okay.
Or maybe they are. you can, maybe they are, and it was treated because you can only see the scar. You would have to open him up just a little bit to see. Basically, you would have to make a very gentle autopsy to see if anything major was hurt. But since he doesn't seem to have any problem breathing, doesn't seem to have had any problem running or things like that, it's easy to say that nothing major was hurt. Unless magic was involved. Healing magic. Someone can recover from deadly wounds very fast with magic.
Can I see if they got healed through a healing spell, or
That I would say make
or do we
either-
like see the points of like where stitches had been, like the little dots?
Yeah, I know. You definitely don't see stitches. You do know, because of your role and in general you're a healer, that magical healing doesn't leave a lot of trace.
So it wouldn't have been.
No. However, I will allow you to make a religion check to see if you can identify if magic has been involved. Healing
Okay.
magic.
And I'll use guidance again. Okay, that's a 15. That's a 4, that's a 15, that's 19, plus 3, that's 21.
As far as you can tell, there wasn't magic involved because magic would most likely have been more efficient than what was left, unless it was a very weak and desperate attempt at making magic to save his life. But it's
Or probably
most
not a
likely wasn't.
well-trained person who did it.
Yes, probably maybe someone who learned magic in another way than through a god. So if magical healing occurred, it wasn't from a priest, a druid, or a paladin that you would expect would have simply completely cured the wound and let him go.
Okay.
So most likely magic was not involved, but there is a little voice in your head saying, well, you can't dismiss it.
It could be, but it,
Unlikely, but it could.
yeah. Okay. Do I have to set that information now again to Trevor, or?
If you just want to relay everything that I've said, you can say that you just relayed this.
Yeah, you could just say you were telling me as you're, figuring it
Yeah,
out.
like examine.
You were looking at the injuries on his arms and around his wrists, and those look superficial. Around your wrist, that looks like restraints, and but this one's weird in front of your heart. That's okay.
Yeah, just talking me through it as you're figuring it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he'll just say, well, that's strange. I got even more questions about it now. I never really thought about it too much until you brought it up, and it's just the circumstance and not knowing beforehand, and then now having them. So don't really want to put Othar in a weird position, but I might just have to ask him about him now and find out what exactly they had to do to get rid of this. I don't know.
Yeah, and if you also figure out if someone did a healing spell on that scar, tell them from me, they did a terrible job.
Well, I'm living, so I must have done something right.
Yeah.
Well, Daddy, I'd say make an intelligence roll.
Oh, okay.
Straight intelligence.
Right, it's...
Done started a monster now. Every roll. Guidance.
Okay, that's 16, that's a 3, that's 19 plus 1, it's a 20. Oh,
She
sorry.
got 20 if you didn't hear it.
Yeah.
No, that's all right. There is one thing that Trevor said that does strike you as odd in your mind. He said he doesn't remember having scars before he was sick, but a few of those scars are very old. As I've said, a few of those scars looks like they were made in fights, but they are very old.
Older than
Older
the
than the
time
rest.
Okay. I'll like touch one scar and point at it like, but so you said you can't remember of having all of these scars, but some are actually would be much older than in the time period where you would have had this before the sickness and after the sickness. So
Yeah, well, since the sickness, I know I've had some memory lapses on some prior details, but after coming out of it, is just when I started remembering I had all these. I don't know. I couldn't tell you what happened beforehand. I can't think of any circumstance where I've gotten in a fight. I mean, in the caravan, you've had some rowdy merchants and stuff and had a few pushing contests and stuff, but nothing that ever got to that level, so I'm not really sure. Well, I said, maybe it'll come to me at some point, I mean, I'm hoping, the sickness didn't permanently wipe these memories out. I'm hoping over time they'll come back, but it's been years now because this is before I went to the school, so I don't know. I'm not holding my breath.
well, if I can help you in any way with it, just let me know, okay?
I'll do it. I appreciate that. And I'll leave you to go do your meditation.
Oh, yeah. If the others wake up, just go look for me. I shouldn't go that far away from here.
No, it's like I said, it's a small village.
Yeah.
You most likely would just have to get out of the inn, walk for 5 or 6 minutes, and you would most likely find yourself in front of a tree or bush or whatever. So you can just sit down, go into meditation, recite the mantras that you've learned from your father.
Yes.
Probably in the tongue of the druids.
Indeed.
And what's the temperature been like, minus the rain that we ran into yesterday? Cold, warm?
Well, it's starting to get warm for the season. You are officially a little under 3 weeks from the solstice of light, which is the same thing as the solstice, the summer solstice. So it's starting to get fairly warm. In the morning, it might be just a little bit damp from the humidity, especially because it rained. But in general, it's starting to be very warm, very easy to walk around without having to have any extra clothing on.
I was going to say he was going to pack up his coat, put it in his bag, and then just roll up his sleeves and keep his cloak, but pack up the jacket. So maybe make her a little more comfortable if she sees the scars, not hiding them. So.
Okay. So, Valtteri and Trevor. Valtteri goes praying, meditating.
Yeah.
Trevor goes downstairs.
Yeah, just pack up my stuff, bring Tao down there with me, and just sit at the bar and order a breakfast or a drink or something just to kill time until somebody else comes down.
So, audience, you slowly come into consciousness. Your head, your head slightly hurting, but nothing you've ever experienced before. I mean, you've experienced far worse hangovers in your life, especially spending so much time at sea with sailors.
All right, I will kind of get up, crack my neck, kind of stumble down the stairs and go look for some breakfast.
All right. Trevor, do you eat breakfast?
Yeah, sure.
All right. We're gonna go with something light, or you
Yeah,
want to
just
go a big hearty
basics,
meal
yeah.
to start the day?
No, just light for me.
All
I'm
right,
not a
so
big guy, so
just a little 3-cupper.
okay, easy enough.
All right, Valtteri. It's not gonna take you 5 hours to meditate and to do everything. You're probably back an hour from then. So you get inside the inn before audience comes down. Do you also take a light meal before preparing?
Yes.
All right. Well, 3-cupper as well. So you are both slowly eating your meal as you see audience barreling down the stairs. Seems to have recovered from his night of drinking. He's slightly more quiet than the night before.
I guess you'll see him coming down. So I thought you would be less of a lightweight on drinking than that. Just hit you the wrong way.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not used to that. I mean, it's been a while since I last had a drink, so maybe that's it.
Yeah, you gotta stay at practice. Yeah, 2 pitchers, 1 glass. Come on, I gotta keep you. I gotta get you back in practice. Yeah. Sit down, have some breakfast.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll turn to the bartender. I'm like, something hearty, please.
Yes, of course. Of course. We're going to go with a 6-cupper, and you have something a little bit heartier, but very common for a small village. So you have a large chunk of fish, a bit of something that looks like mushy peas. At least you hope it is. A little bit of bread.
Okay.
It's very filling. Not extremely tasty, but very filling. You also see Tobiashi coming down the stairs, slowly, groggily. Seems to have been lost in thought for a while during the night. So he also seems to be uncharacteristically quiet, lost in thought. I have so much trouble with. For those wondering why I have so often trouble, it's because in French, th it's not pronounced the same way as in English. So very often I don't pronounce the h when I should. This is why sometimes I say tree instead of 3 and 3.
Trevor, just ask him as he comes down. You all right?
Oh yeah, sure. Don't worry. I was just a little bit lost thinking about the few stuff that we've seen. Don't worry. It's just, and he goes to the counter.
There. Just leave it at that.
After all, he seems to be the shadiest character of you all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't want to bring up the candies again right here at the counter. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that for now.
All right. So, morning passes. Everything seems to be in order. No one seems to be paying more attention to you than usual. It's, you're a group of adventurers. You stand out, even when you're not trying to. So, you've all eaten. I hope Tobiyashi is not going to be mad about this, but I am going to subtract 3 coppers from his inventory for a meal.
Yeah. Pretty sure we'd all eat something, so yeah.
Equipment. Currency. Adjust currency. Alright. Alright. So, it is 8:30, 9, maybe 9:15. We give audience the time to properly eat, properly wake up. So, what do? The rain has subsided. It is a little bit damp outside because it probably rained almost throughout the entire night. Sky is covered, so it might actually rain again during the day, but right now it's not raining.
Trevor will speak up and say, well, now that everybody's done eating, since we got a little bit of a later start this morning, as he kind of glances over at audience, I say we should go ahead and head out because they already said it was like a 3/4 of a day walk there, so we'll probably just be getting there at the end of the day.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, just so that you remember, Dungeons and Dragons works in groups of 8 hours. So 3/4 of a day is 6 hours of walk. It's not 12 hours of walk. Or actually 16 hours of walk.
Yeah. Still, if we're finishing at 9, 10 o'clock, that'll be 3, 4 in the afternoon. So, yeah.
You'd be getting there pretty late. Most of the shop would be closed.
All right. Yeah. I guess unless anybody else got anything to do, I guess we'll head out.
So
I can barely hear you. It's sort of like
Do you keep turning it down, or you just forget to
no,
turn
I'm
it back?
not doing anything. It's doing it by itself.
It's probably not an auto setting that you haven't figured out yet.
Well,
I don't know. Is it better?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I think it wouldn't be that bad of an idea to get there earlier this time.
yeah.
I might have overdone it last time, so yesterday, so sorry about that.
Yeah.
But they were so cute.
No offense, but maybe we won't run into any animals.
I mean, birds.
Yeah, there are always birds flying around. You're near a mountain. You're bound to see a few mountain animals. The road will take you very close to the edge of the mountains, so...
We will see goats.
I'll put it this way. Hopefully there's none close enough for you to want to go and pet.
I mean, not pet, but draw.
You can do that while walking.
slow walk.
Still progress.
Okay. Well then, nothing will hinder your departure from this town. So, you just get back on the road. Are you planning on trying to get a quick marching pace to get there as fast as you can, or are you paying attention to your surrounding?
I will set the quick marching pace again.
I'd keep a close look of our surroundings, not that something is sneaking up on us.
Yeah.
Okay,
And I'll
well,
just kind of do the same thing as before, send Tao at first just straight up, look through his eyes for a minute or so, see if there's anything on the path, and then
Alright.
come back down and just circle
So-
around as we're walking.
make a perception roll for Tao.
I do one as well, or?
Well,
Yeah, because you're looking on your own there, so yeah. But it'd be
Yeah.
17 for Tao.
alright. Well, actually, I'm gonna go with you and Tobiyashi for observation on the ground. Tobiyashi does have a very high perception. Do you want to let him head this roll, or by giving him advantage, or do you want to do this?
Let him and give him also guidance.
Well, it's a perception roll for about 4 hours of walk. Well, 3 hours of walk, so your guidance wouldn't help a lot.
I could I could just like
Yeah.
put my hand in his-
You're walking with your hand on his shoulder all the while. Guidance,
Just
guidance,
chain
guidance,
casting
guidance.
guidance.
You can hear the druid talk for 3 hours straight.
Just muttering some words under her breath. And it's just like,
I mean, I could just make Trevor Charles and just hold Toby's hand all the time, but yeah.
Whatever you want.
Nah, I'll let him and give him the advantage.
Alright.
you can if you want, I mean, it's
Alright. So, alright. You and Tobiyashi, as with Trevor, do not see any problems for the next 3 or 4 hours of walk. As you walk, you do see a small herd of mountain goats, but they're not in your path. They're when you get to the part of the road that is the closest to the mountain, you actually do see this herd of mountain goats trying to cautiously make their way on the cliff that you find yourself watching. You would have to be able to climb or fly there if you want to pet those.
I was not thinking of petting, but drawing.
Sure.
Yeah,
All right.
This is Trevor too. While we're walking, as she's trying to draw these, just
You
Just
are
like see her like seeing the goats quickly taking out her notebook and like making like a little sketch of them being like far away.
and
Well-
the headache starts.
well. You can always try and draw while you are walking. This is. I would
That
have.
was my plan, yeah.
Oh wow! All right. Well, I'd say make a performance check with disadvantage because you're trying to draw and walk at the same time.
Can I give myself guidance?
The drawing, sure. Why not?
It's like once Trevor sees this, he'll kind of get behind her. If he sees her walking towards a tree, he'll just grab her shoulder and twist her a little ways to kind of keep her
Okay,
from.
that would be a 15 plus 1 would be a 16, and the second roll is a 16 with 3, that would be a 19, so 16.
All right. Um, there are quite a few places that you'd like to be able to erase them, but unfortunately, you're just gonna have to do it. Trevor, you actually now see what it might have been like for Valtteri to guide you in the street of Sutian while you were watching through the eyes of Tal.
Yep. And he's just walking and just face palming, but keeping one eye where he can at least see where he's going. Just
Audience, you see this circus behind you. They sometimes slow down. Sometimes they start walking a little bit faster. You get to the point of where you might lose sight of them, so you just wait a few moments, and you see them slowly making their way.
yeah. But Trevor
have the
just yell at
feeling
him like, "Man, I'm trying. I really am."
I have the feeling that audience is so close of taking away my notebook and burning it.
I'd say, audience.
I mean, I'm just not really slowing down that much. I'm kind of like, they'll catch up.
So.
Trevor
Alright.
might take a firebolt to it before too long here. Yeah.
So at one point you do lose sight of them. Are you going to wait for them, or are you just going to keep going, and
Is Tobiyashi with me, or is he back with the...
he's between them and you, sort of acting like
So
a
I can
bridge.
still see him?
Yeah, you can
So I
see
can
him,
still see
but you can't see Valtteri and Trevor anymore.
I'll keep going. I'll trust they're still behind me.
Well, I'm just making one drawing that won't take that long, so...
Have you ever tried to draw while you are walking?
Yes, I've also been reading books while walking in school, so that is even better because you have to go upstairs and dodge other people.
The next question is, have you ever tried to make a good drawing while walking outside?
Yes.
How successful have you been?
Well, I'm not really a good drawer, so...
Well, if you
So-
stopped and
But it-
did it still,
but it-
then you might do a little better.
This is
Fun fact,
yes.
it was better than some of my drawings I did in sitting, so...
So remember that you are walking basically on a dirt road, getting very close to mountains, so there is a bit of a hill to climb. There are rocks, small ones, big ones. From time to time, you do hear Trevor say, "Watch out!" because there is a small boa.
What?
I think it's boa. I'm not sure. I know the name in French, but a snake,
What?
small snakes
Oh,
that
boa.
don't bite.
Okay, I understood
boa constrictor,
BLOA.
No,
so
not
it was
boa.
Like boa.
That'd be more like duck or jump, depending on where they're aiming.
No, they're not giant constrictor snake. They're just small snakes, the kind of snakes that you find on the road, which are usually, I don't know, at most a foot long, at most.
Depending how old they are.
Um.
But
So.
yeah, it shouldn't take that long. It's just one drawing and not multiple drawings.
You are trying to draw a goat or the herd of goat that you saw?
I'm
Try to
not
draw the
doing
mountain
them
too?
I'm not doing them in detail. I'm making like a little thing where it's like the herd, but not really in detail.
All
Fill
right,
that
so
in
Trevor,
later.
for
Gotcha.
half an hour, you get to see how it has been for her to guide you through the street.
Yeah, and I made her do it for how long did it take us to get to the square?
Half
Like
a
an
day.
hour.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, there
few
was
hours.
that, and then getting there, and then listening to the people, and then finding someone in the crowd. So yeah,
And then guiding you again
Yes.
from one city
So
to the other.
more than an hour. All right, so you make part of the road. Are you going to stop to eat something midway, or are you just going to push it even though you are starting to get hungry.
Wait, I have stuff. Still have
Yeah.
stuff.
So do I.
I had a pretty hearty breakfast, so I'm doing okay.
Yeah, but right now you've been walking for 4 hours. And for you, audience, you've been walking for 4 hours at a marching pace. Sorry.
And
Paste.
in armor.
I can go a few more hours.
All right. You're gonna get pretty hungry.
How far is Toby away from us?
Well, if he's acting as a bridge between the two halves of the group, right now he is probably near 100 feet away from you. You can't see audience anymore. Audience, Tobiashi is starting to be very far behind.
So I can throw an apple at him.
Okay.
Got it.
He's a monk. You can probably throw the apple at him if you got a good arm.
I don't.
Well, then
No, he
Trevor
could
can
probably
throw it
he
at
could
him.
probably run and close the gap. Actually, I wonder if we're gonna fight before we.
Yeah, that's
Actually,
the same
say
thing.
yeah. Because Trevor say here. You want me to get the apple to him? He'll take the apple. He'll hold it up, cast catapult, send it 90 feet down.
So out of the blue,
Tobiashi
Tobiashi hears, "Hey you, catch!" And he looks and see an apple coming.
Yeah, Trevor will just hold it in his hand. You'll see him mutter a few words, draw a little arcane signal, and the thing just levitates and 90 feet down.
And he impressively catches it without any effort. Almost as if he was expecting it.
So I gave
plucks it.
Toby an apple, myself, and Trevor.
Alright.
I had 3 exactly, so.
Well, that's good. Alright, so you spend another 2 hours and a half walking, and you get to the next town. You've encountered nothing on the road. The sky is still clouded, but it hasn't rained.
I guess since when it's whole 9 feet, he doesn't take the 3d8 bludgeoning damage, right? It just kind of just falls and he catches it.
Yeah, well, the range is 90 feet, so yeah, probably he just saw it coming.
It slows down by the time it gets to him. He just catches it. Okay.
But, is it a... do you have to make a attack roll, or is it a saving throw? It's a saving throw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to dodge it if he wanted to. But since it was basically out of gas at that point, it'd be basically just kind of free falling at that point. I would think after the 90 feet, it's just kind of coasting and gravity takes over. So
well, yeah, you weren't actually trying to hurt him, so you probably aimed a little bit higher than him.
Yeah. Honestly, surprised that the apple didn't explode it when did it hit the ground or did it hit him?
No, he rolled. I rolled for him so high, he basically plucked it from the air, almost as if it was a tree taken from a tree.
Okay.
It was really an expert roll. Oh. So, you encounter no one. The road is very quiet, and slowly you are starting to see grazing fields. You see why the town, most likely why the town is called the Greening Hills, because you can see that the roots of the mountain stretches very far away from the mountains and reaches the town itself. It rolls and small hills, mostly covered with moss that manage to grab on to the rock. And especially you, Valtteri, who is such an expert with nature, you can easily see why the town would have the name of Greening Hill, because moss like that usually turns brown when it is dry and green when it is wet. So depending on when during the day you are, the hills probably go from brown to green all day long. It is mostly a herding community. You don't see any farms. You see empty grazing field. Some actually have livestock in it. Some don't.
Sheep.
Mostly, I'd say yes. From what you can see, some are quite large, so you might think that they are probably other types of animal. You're familiar with how towns make grazing fields, so they're not always busy with animals. They rotate their field, rotate the place where the animals are. So there probably are everything everywhere spread out within half a day of walk of the town.
So basically, we just stranded in Ireland.
Part of France also,
True.
especially in the south.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen cows with horns charging at one another. Can be scary.
Yeah, especially when you have a dog and you see your dog running away.
Especially when you know you have to run to walk between them. That's what I had to do. So you get to the town very easily. Just like the other one, it is very small. When you get to the center of town, there is a temple, church. You can see an inn, one or two houses that probably sell something when it's earlier in the morning. But right now they're closed. You see an L-shaped building with all the shutter closed that you think are probably something between metalworking or woodworking. Small repairs, mostly.
Do we see any signs of goblin attacks?
No, and actually everyone seems to be fairly relaxed. It is about 6:30, so you can see people slowly making their way to their houses. Some of them are going to the inn. There doesn't seem to be any tension in town.
Okay. I like poke travel, like for them telling us that there would have been some goblin problems. This town seems really peaceful, don't you think?
Yeah. Maybe it's been a while since they've had one, and starting to relax now. So I don't know. We'll see if we can find out if there's anything going on. And he'll look around. Is there an inn close by or anything like that?
Well, there's not a lot of people. A town is usually it rarely goes higher than 10 or 20 houses, so it's a big town, but it's still just a town. So yes, you can find someone. Not a lot of people, but yes, you can. Especially if you go closer to the inn, because usually why there's an inn in those places is because at the end of the day, a lot of them go there. Back in those days, it was the same as going to watch TV. You go to the inn, talk with your friends, share the meals, share the
bar
drink.
fights.
Someplace.
Entertainment.
I guess Trevor will just start heading towards the inn, and anybody gets close to us, he's not going to go chase anybody down. But if somebody's close by, he'll just be like, "Hello there, we some adventurers. We just came from Grey Cove, and we heard you guys had some livestock disappearing and possibly a goblin problem. Yeah, if we run into anybody before the inn."
Well, just as you were about to get to the inn, you do cross a path with a young human male. Seems to be slowly making his way to the inn. He says, problems with goblins? No, actually, it's been very quiet for a few weeks here. Almost a month. We haven't heard even sightings of this little pest. So it's, I don't know why you've heard that. Maybe you could just get in the inn, ask the innkeeper. He might have heard something that I didn't. My fields are mostly to the west of town, so it's those to the east. Some of them are closer to the forest, and so maybe they might have had problems. But if they have, I didn't share it.
Okay, yeah, we'll check in with the innkeeper and see. Appreciate your time there.
No problem. Have a nice day.
All right.
He gets inside the inn.
You too. All right. I guess we'll head in.
All right. Audience, you probably got to town a little bit before everyone else. Did you wait for them to come in town, or did you start?
I did wait for them before I came.
All right. So you are with them, and you hear this conversation.
All right. I will also head into the inn. So,
Valtteri?
I follow.
All right. So the four of you get inside the inn. Has anyone heard anything about our fourth player?
His internet wasn't working when he got home. They're trying to get it fixed. So yeah. So
unfortunately, those things happen sometime.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's hope that he gets
he can make it.
Internet fixed. So. You get inside the inn. People are talking. You see mostly human. You see maybe 2 or 3 halflings. You see one dragonborn who seems to be a traveler. He is wearing traveler's clothes. He is alone in a corner. That's mostly it. You do see 2 half-elf. They're enjoying a meal in the corner of one of the corner of the inn. 2 male half-elf, just casually talking, and you see the innkeeper. Human, probably in later years of his life, starting to have quite a lot of gray on his head.
Alright. Yeah. I guess Trevor will just make his way up to the bar. I don't know what everybody else does, but yeah, he'll go right to the innkeeper and say, "Good evening, sir."
Oh, well, good evening. What would you have?
What do you have?
Oh, well, we're just a small town, nothing very exotic. Ale, of course.
Yeah. How about wine?
Oh, well, this is a bit.
Yeah, I heard this back in Grey Cove.
Oh, you're coming from Grey Cove. All right. Yes.
Yeah.
Because the festivities are coming, yes, we do sometimes receive a bit classier merchandise. Could go to.
I'm just not an ale person, no offense. So.
He gives you a once over and looking at you. Yes, you do look like someone who is used to better surroundings.
I did not say that. I just prefer wine.
Yes.
I try not to hold myself above anybody else. Yeah.
Well, we did receive apparently a few bottles. I don't mind opening one for you.
Thank you.
Are you going to take the whole bottle or just part of it?
It depends on price.
Well, a whole bottle. Well, it's not the highest quality, so we're going to go with eight silver for the bottle.
Sure, I can do that. Then how much for a meal and room for the night?
So, are you looking for something? And he looks at what you're wearing up to your standards, or something?
As he folds his arms with all the scars there, you know.
Are you looking for something more modest?
Modest is fine. We're probably only staying the night.
Very well. Are you alone?
No, I have 3 more with me.
So, Valtteri and audience, what are you doing as Trevor goes to the desk and seems to be booking rooms for everyone?
I'm not paying for everybody's, but
I said seems.
yeah.
I'll kind of just walk around, talk to a few people, get like kind of be friendly.
All right.
What time is it right now?
Probably around 6:45, 7.
Okay. I'm also gonna order dinner.
I'm losing you. I can barely hear you.
Yeah, you lagged a little bit there.
Yeah,
I lagged.
it's just a lag. I
said,
could barely. It was very choppy.
Okay. I said I would like walk around and talk to people. Then I also was gonna go order dinner.
All right, Valtteri.
How many people are in the inn?
Right now, maybe 12, 15.
Okay, she already feels uncomfortable. And quickly follows Trevor.
All right, so you are sitting next to Trevor while audience is working the room. So audience, are you just trying to listen to people, or are you trying to involve yourself in some discussions?
Involve myself.
Okay. If you are trying to involve...
Pull up a seat at the half elf couple eating dinner there together. Just pull up a chair, sit down next to it. Hey, how's it going? Oh,
Honestly,
hey.
I probably would.
Hey,
Oh, hello.
Yeah, I'm here. Hey.
haven't fought anything yet, but
Hey,
All right, that's good.
I could have potentially killed you with an apple, though.
Oh wow, that's always good.
But you caught it expertly. With
Everyone does.
with a dexterity saving throw that was extremely high.
Yeah.
Wow.
You were about 100 feet ahead of us. I used catapult to send an apple to you, but if it would have hit you, it would have done like 3d8 bludgeoning damage. So luckily you caught it.
It was your dinner. For
Yeah.
the day.
Tell me not to be
Or lunch, yeah.
So right now you have made your way to the town of Greening Hills. You've just entered into the inn. Everyone seems relaxed, contrary to what you've been told in the previous town, where there was supposed to be a goblin problem here. Everyone's relaxed. You did hear Trevor talk to someone, and doesn't seem to be any goblin problem in town. Trevor right now is at the counter, buying wine and apparently securing rooms for the party. Valtteri seems to be feeling a little bit claustrophobe and has clung very close to Trevor. Audience is doing his best to start conversation with everyone. And
He's frozen up, so I think you're just just telling the viewers right now. Yep, he fell off.
yeah.
His internet came back for just a little bit, but
All right. Well,
Okay, I heard
it's
most
coming
of
back.
it.
Now you
You
can
heard
do it all
most of
again.
No, I heard most of it.
all right.
Okay.
So, like I said, Trevor and Valtteri are at the desk. Audience is working the room to trying to be part of the different conversations. And you, well, basically, it's your turn to say what you want to do inside that inn.
Okay, wow. Already, wow. I just jumped in here.
Yeah, well, you just jumped in at the right moment.
Yep.
Okay, well, seeing that, I'd probably, I'm gonna go up to the barkeep and, ask him for a drink.
All right. He offers you ale. He does say that your friend did ask for a bottle of wine.
Mhm.
So if you want to share with him, you can have wine. Otherwise, it's a mug of ale.
I'll buy my own mug of ale.
All right, 4 copper. Audience, to share in the conversation of other, I would say make a charisma roll. Straight charisma.
Just gotta get a pen.
Okay. I will make charisma. Where are my dice? Oh. Alright. And then I add +2, so that would be 15.
15. Well, it takes you a few attempts. Not everyone is very open to someone as tall as you just barging into their conversation. But eventually, yes, you do find people that are very open to having you share their conversation. Actually, it is... you start sharing in the conversation with a human and a halfling, talking about their field. Both of them are herders.
Herders?
Yeah,
Nice.
one mostly has sheep, and as best you can understand it, the other one has goats.
Nice. I'll ask if there's any trouble with their flocks or if they're doing well.
Well, the halfling looks at you and says, "Oh, I haven't had any problems with my goats. They've all seem to be very comfortable, very kind. One did eat a hole in my shirt, but that's very usual. You know, they're goats. They're not cats."
Fair.
Your internet froze. I have no
I'll
clue
turn-
if you said something.
Oh. I just nodded in agreement.
Okay.
Turned to the other man, and yours? Are your sheep doing well?
Well, yes, actually. Most of our fields are toward the south. So, yeah. Haven't heard anything for almost a month. It's always a good sign when those little pests aren't around. We've been quite fortunate for the past month.
Excellent.
The mid of spring has been very good for us. We're hoping that the dusk of spring also is very fortunate for us.
Nice. I'm glad to hear that your flocks are doing so well.
And how have you been? We've never seen you here before.
Oh, I'm just traveling through with my party. I'll point to some of the other members. We are traveling on a mission to meet up with some other adventurers.
Oh, you hear the halfling say, "Oh, that's interesting." And what sort of mission might that be? I think we have two players with
they
internet
said that we
problems.
Yeah, no, I definitely have internet problems. I'm in a new place for the holidays. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay.
That explains the different
it was
decor.
kind of if people there.
I,
What was I
th-
gonna
I think
say?
we're about to lose you.
There we go.
It went extremely choppy for about 3 or 4 seconds.
Okay, are we good?
Yes, right now
Back
we
now.
are.
Okay. I was just gonna say that the mission right now, we don't currently completely know. We said we would be told once we reached there. But and I'll show him the coin that I have, and I'll be like, "This is a coin we received to come and meet up."
You see, the human says, "I've seen one of those coins before. There was a group of adventurers a few weeks ago that came by. One of them had this very similar coin. What is it?"
Oh, how interesting.
As he
I don't
as he
completely
asks
know.
for what it is, you see him, maybe as a reflex, reaching out to it, trying to touch it.
I'll
Alright.
keep my hand on it. I'll keep my hand on it, but I'll let him touch it if he wants.
All right. Well, he see the resistance that you're passively putting, so he doesn't take the coin and just touch it a little bit, and then. So
I said I don't completely know. It was just given to me in a letter. I point to Trevor. I'd be like, you'd probably be more the one to ask about that type of thing. He's
oh,
some cast mage individual.
So you're walking with fortunate individuals. Oh. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
he could be a little stuck up, but he's not too bad once you get to know him.
a lot of people that travel with mages very often end up saying this. It's always hard to know if it's because they like their help or if they're honest. Like
I'll just kind
with
of shrug.
traveling with a priest. Not everyone likes every god, but everyone likes someone who can keep them alive.
Fair. Speaking of gods, good segue.
Oh boy.
All right, if you're
I will
about to
bet-
Yeah,
start
he missed his
preaching,
opportunity at the last end. Yeah, that's true.
if you are about to start preaching,
it was a good segue.
Here we go again.
Mention religion that I believe in, and I'll ask them their opinions on.
so you talk about it.
Yes, I do. I explain it to them.
Oh wow, dragons as gods. Well, this is the halfling talking right now. He says, "Well, I do admit they're very impressive. I've actually seen one flying in the sky when I was a bit younger. Gods, you say, huh? Wow.
Yeah.
Uncomfortable.
Well, it comes a bit in conflict with what my father told me about this world. I mean, it's possible that everything fits together, but my father always told me that the world was like this because Construct basically screwed everything up in the beginning, and so yeah. I don't
Who
know
did
how-
your father hear this from, though?
Oh, his father before him.
Ah, it's a generational thing, I see. Well, I'm not one to question the beliefs of your father. That's what I think, and I'll kind of give him the whole kind of break it down for him. With I'll try and roll persuasion to try and convince him of my viewpoint.
Sure, go
Are
ahead.
we hearing? Are we hearing this up at the bar or whatever? Him start
If you want
preach?
to.
How loud are you preaching?
Yeah, that's the question.
I'm more talking to them than preaching. So just
All right.
I'm not shouting out.
Well, because
I'm not being quiet, but I'm not shouting.
Well, Tobiyashi would probably notice this because of his high passive perception and because he's starting to be familiar with this routine. What about Trevor and...
Well, I don't think I'd be actively listening for him. So yeah, I'm like 13. So
Yeah, no, in that case you wouldn't. And Valtteri... No, you and Valtteri wouldn't hear him. Tobiyashi, because you are so perceptive, you do hear the faint, familiar words of gods and dragons. And of course, if you turn around and look in audience's direction, because you can lip read, you can basically tell everything he is saying to those people.
Okay. Well, I would be I'd be just scanning the area for looking for people talking about goblins or any mischief that's happened on farms or any anything. Just scanning the room.
You did hear when you were about to enter this place, Trevor talking to a herder, saying that the innkeeper would probably have a better chance of knowing rumors about all of these things.
Okay.
Yeah, which is just about what he was going to get at in the next part of our conversation anyway. So if you came up to the bar to order ale, so you'd be hearing me anyway. So
all right.
So as you get to the counter, you can hear Trevor starting to initiate a conversation about rumors, and exactly as you're about to hear this. Trevor talking about this, you hear the familiar words of, "Have you heard about dragons?" And you know that audience is about to preach.
Oh gosh.
So audience, what did you roll for your
you're quiet
persuasion?
again. Wow.
I rolled a 4. Am I quiet?
No, it's okay.
Valtteri, Catherine.
Oh, Valtteri. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I rolled a 14.
You rolled a 14. Well, actually, you really don't seem to be getting through to the halfling. However, the human does seem to show signs of interest. Not conversion, but he definitely finds something that's resonating with him in what you're saying.
Alright. I'll continue speaking to him about it then, kind of.
Alright.
Tell him more of the details.
Alright. Tobiyashi, you hear in the background the familiar voice of audience getting in it very in detail.
Okay, well, I'm just going to keep...
You know this means he probably found someone he feels like he can convert.
Alright, well, I'm going to keep drinking and hopefully he... I'm going to keep drinking and listening to Trevor,
Alright.
See what the barkeep has to say.
Alright, so Trevor, what question do you ask?
Okay, well, I was just going to ask, well, we just came from Grey Cove, and the innkeeper there told me you guys might be having livestock disappearing and goblin problems, but from one of the townsfolk, you haven't had any problems for a few weeks?
No, actually, that's very right. We haven't had any problems for almost a month. Little pest, they've all seemed to have disappeared from the surrounding. I'm not complaining about this. It's always very good to have fewer of them than us. So, but yeah, no, we've haven't heard anything. However, well, there might be something. One of our herder, a boy named Kutrin, he on one of his fields, he owns the easternmost grazing field of our town, and I remember that a few weeks ago. He came by saying that he had to chase down two sheep that had escaped, and he met with someone from the next town. He did come back with rumors of a horrible story about an entire grazing field that had been slaughtered, literally shredded to pieces. I don't remember him talking about goblins specifically, but the rumor might have come from this. Maybe the person that you met just heard him talking about this. He usually comes by a bit later on. Unfortunately, he is now the only one taking care of this field. His father passed away last winter, and his mother, well, he is a half elf, so his mother said she was coming back, but you and I know that for them, coming back in a while can be coming back in a few decades. For them, it's a while, but for us, it's half our lives.
Yeah.
You do feel a little bit of resentment about what he's saying, maybe from something he lived, or maybe a story he's heard too many times.
All right. So you said he'll be in later tonight? Or?
Yeah, because he has the easternmost field, he is usually one of the last one to get in. Usually a bit before we start closing up the kitchen for the meal. So he'd probably be here in about an hour.
Okay. All right. I'll just hang around up here and enjoy my meal. And if you would, just if you can, point him out to me when he comes in.
All right.
So I can ask him. And yeah, he'll. Oh yeah, how much was? We didn't get to the meal in the room yet, so we were just getting to go over the prices with that when Toby logged on. So.
Yeah. So you would have most likely been. All right. So it's a small town. Doesn't have a lot of very pricey room. So it's 7 copper for the night, and actually in the 7 copper he does include the morning meal.
Okay. What about tonight's meal?
Tonight's meal, if you want to just
moderate, nothing big, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's 3 copper if you want a moderate meal. If you want something a little bit more hearty, it's going to be 6 copper.
Okay. Just 10 copper and all. Okay. Ouch. Not add. Okay. Alright, so mine's paid for. And I guess. Well, as I look at Val and said, "You all right?" I guess you would pick up on her being uncomfortable. Is it the crowd or is it my scars again?
It's
I can barely hear you.
Yeah, that's it.
it's the people.
Yeah. Alright. Well, I mean,
And how much was the room again? Forgot.
It's 7 copper, and it includes the morning meal.
Okay.
So, audience, how long do you want to keep trying to convert this human. Do you give up after an hour, or do you stay for as long as he stays seated with you?
Probably about an hour. I'd probably talk to him for about an hour.
All right.
How much longer until night?
Well, right now it's about 7, so it's probably dusk right now. The sun is almost completely set. Might still get a few glimpses of yellow and orange if you look outside, but you're in the last half hour.
Okay. Yeah, I would just like to overhear conversations in the bar. See if anybody's talking about anything.
Okay. Make a perception roll.
Mm.
I can't hear you. I think you muted
Oh, no,
yourself.
it was 14.
All right. You don't hear anything different from what you've heard so far. Most of them are just talking about what's happening on their field and about the festivities of the solstice of light coming. Some of them are starting to prepare, especially those with children. They are expecting this very much. It is a festivity after all. Life in this town seems to be very quiet and very settled. So that's about everything you hear. Just like the bartender, like the innkeeper said, you don't hear anyone talking about goblins. And if you hear someone saying the word goblin, it usually is just to say that they're... It's really a good thing. It's really very comforting to know that there haven't been any problems with those pests for quite a while now.
Okay.
So, yes, go ahead.
Oh, no, that's all I'm going to do. And then I continue drinking.
All right. So, audience, after an hour, seems like the human is interested, but you do identify that it's going to take more than one sitting of preaching to fully convert him.
All right. I'll kind of be like, well, think on it, kind of thing, and then I'm gonna go get dinner.
All right. So, like I said, if you want the hearty meal, it's going to be 6 copper. And just like everyone else, if you want a room, 7 copper, and it does include the morning meal.
All right, and I will get that. So that's 12 copper.
When audience comes up to the bar, we say, "You want some wine? I don't really think I should drink this whole bottle by myself."
Sure, I'll take some wine.
All right, so
Yeah,
you
pour up
open the
one.
bottle and
I'm
each
lightly
pour,
rolling my eyes.
and
If he sees that, he'll pour her one too and slide it over to Val.
All right, Tobiyashi, do you want some wine? Everyone seems to be taking some. Well, having one glass in front of him.
Okay, this kind of... Okay. Since we're not doing anything anymore, I'll say, well, we made it here, so let's celebrate. I will finish the ale of wine, the
Mug of
pint
ale.
of ale that I have. Yeah, the mug of ale, and then I'll go for another cup of wine.
All right.
Pour you one, audience, myself, Val, push it over to her. Like, here between that, and he'll actually hand her his children's book too. So here between the wine and that if you want to give it a try, maybe it'll put your mind at ease there. Yeah. And that's it. Just yeah.
All right, so Valtteri Trevor offers you to go and look at his children's book to calm your nerve.
I will try doing that.
All right. So as you all
Works
take...
for him, so he just
Yeah, sure. So as you all take a drink, Valtteri, do you take a sip of the wine, or do you just cheer with everyone else and just put it back on the counter?
I'll like slightly shove it back to Trevor.
All right. So as you all take a drink from your wine, Trevor, you see the innkeeper just tap on your arm and point toward a young half-elf male entering the inn.
He's like, all right, thank you. And he'll grab both of the glasses of wine and head to the guy, the one that Val pushed back in his.
Sure.
Uh, and approach him and yeah, are you what is this? Colthrin by chance?
Close enough.
Okay.
Why? Do you have something for me?
Yeah, here you go. Hand him a glass of wine.
Thank you. He looks at it, smells it a little bit.
It's fine. I just opened the bottle.
Okay. Well, is everything
Click
okay?
his glass. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm here to find out. The innkeeper told me you had some problems in your field, where me and the other three at the bar there were adventurers, and we were passing through. And heard you might have some problems.
Well, actually, I don't have any problems. But yes, about 3 weeks ago, I've heard that next town might have problems with a creature that came from the woods. The woods aren't very far from here, maybe half a day of walk. The town itself is almost a day of walk. But yeah, I've heard they have actually been having problem for about 3 weeks, almost a month. I've heard that one of their grazing field got shredded to pieces. In the beginning, they thought it was goblins, but there haven't been any goblin sighting near the mountains for almost a month. I've heard some of them believe that it might be a bit of a fabled creature living in the forest. Well,
so nobody's actually seen it yet.
Well, I haven't talked to anyone from the town in the last 2 weeks, and like I said, the only thing I've heard was when I went after 2 of my sheep that got lost. On my way, I met a group of hunters from the next village. When I asked them why they were hunting this late, they told me that they were hunting a creature from the wood. One of them hinted at a children's story about a creature, so this is why I say it's a fabled creature. But
did they say it's a name in particular or anything, or?
No, I don't really know the local lore of this town. It's Twern is a small town. It mostly live with hunting because they're so close to the forest. They do have a few grazing fields, but it's mostly hunting. They're actually, because they're less than a day away from a commercial hub, they often sell their meat there. So they're quite known for the hunters they have.
Okay, so we'll probably get better answers once we got to the next town then. Okay. What was the name of that town again? Sorry, I didn't quite catch it the first time.
Twern. Twern.
Okay, yeah, so that's how I was going to spell it right. Okay. All right, and you said it was about another day's travel.
Yeah,
What?
roughly the same distance as from here and Grey Cove, but you do have a little fork in the road, so it might be an hour more.
Okay,
So,
and which I'm sure it'll be marked on the signs, but which direction was it when we get to the fork?
oh,
So I know.
you just leave the town eastbound, and maybe I don't know two
Yep.
half 2 hour, an hour and a half, 2 hours of walk. You're gonna get to an intersection in the road. Just take the one going mostly north. This is
Okay.
the branch of the road that's going to take you to Torn.
Okay, good. That was kind of the direction we were going anyway. So,
Oh, good.
all right, all right. Well, I appreciate your help there, and enjoy the wine.
Uh, Thank you. He
And
finds
head back.
he finds a table and slowly starts sipping the wine.
I'll leave him. Head back up to the bar.
All right. So Valtteri and audience, did you join Trevor for this, or did you stay at the counter and wait for him to come back?
I stayed at the counter.
All right. Tobiyashi, with your passive perception, if you were looking in their direction, you could probably even read read on the lips what the half-elf fellow was saying to Trevor.
Yeah, I was watching.
Okay. So you are extremely aware of everything that has just been said.
All right.
Yeah, he'll come back up to the bar and reiterate everything. That nothing here looks like it's going to be up in the next town. But he'll ask the barkeep, "Do you know of any fabled creatures around here that could be causing this?"
Well, actually, he's heard something. Well, the only fabled creature that I remember from a group of hunters who came by the village maybe 2 or 3 years ago, they did say that the forest near here was named after a creature that legend says was protecting one of the founding members of the town of Tworn. And they actually said that the name of the forest is based off the name of this creature, the Tournay Woods. So it's a bit hard to avoid in this region, especially if you want to leave this area. You can always try and go south and go around the lakes, but if you don't want to go this far down, you are going to have to go through these woods. They did say that their lore says that one of the children of the founding members of the town of Tworn, village of Tworn, sorry,
Yeah.
was friend with a creature living in the forest, an elemental creature. That's really all that I've heard.
Okay. Well, at least gives me a little bit of an idea of what we might be coming up against. So I appreciate it.
Well, I'm glad it might be able to help.
Yeah. Anything we can do to prepare beforehand is always a help. Any little
I
bit of
would imagine.
information is better than none.
I would imagine.
I doubt I'll know anything, but could I do like a check to see if I've heard of any of this, or?
Well, sure. I'd say I
Maybe
would
I
let
could call something a little more detailed.
I would let Tobiyashi and Trevor make a history roll if they want to. Audience, this island is way too out of your field, and Valtteri, you've never left your island, so you could roll, but the DC is going to be so high, basically, unless you get a natural 20,
Was
you're
it
not
his
going to have anything.
turn? 17.
17?
14 for me, so no.
14.
17.
No, unfortunately, neither of you have heard about these wood in this store.
Okay. All right. Well, just tell them again I appreciate it, and guess we'll be heading to Torn in the morning. See what we can find there.
Do you want to do anything else for the rest of the night?
Not particularly. Just
Yeah.
check with Val, see if reading the book's helping her nerves any, since she turned down the wine, but he made good use out of it. So.
All right. Well, I'd say Valtteri, if you want to make I would say, wisdom saving throw. Help you control this anxiety that you have. See if the book helps. Because while you're reading it, you're not focusing on your surrounding. So.
11.
11. There are a few stories that are good that sort of helps you blur out the noise around you, but mostly it doesn't help much. These stories are just too weird for you. You know that a friendly elemental creature helping a little girl get over her problems, a little boy going into adventure with a dragon that he found, a small boy with an adult dragon. Doesn't make a lot of sense for you, you know. You can see the appeal for a child, but for you, not so much.
She's probably probably thinking to herself, what the hell does he see in this book? But I say, well, sorry it didn't work for you, you know. It does for me. I don't know. I guess I'm just weird.
No, but thanks for trying to help.
Yeah. And he'll just put it back in his bag, I guess.
You have seen animal getting comforted by some specific action when they get domesticated, so it's fairly possible that Trevor might have access to this when he was very young, and it helped him, and because of that, there's always this little memory that keeps coming back, helping him. But with the roll that you made, you probably guessed that unless you have that specific good memory that the book helps you get back into, it's not as efficient. All right, so everyone finish his day, finish his drink, his meal, and goes to bed.
Yep.
We're going to take the break on this now. And
All right.
tomorrow, everyone goes to the town of Twern.
Hey.
All right.
Hey,
See you guys in 10 minutes.
See you in 10 minutes.
10.
Have a nice bedroom break. Welcome back, everyone. As you can see, we have a frozen picture. Audience is having problem with internet, most specifically the Wi-Fi. He doesn't seem to be able to reconnect with our video conference. So, we're gonna hope that he can join us back very soon. Otherwise, well, he will, strangely enough, become uncharacteristically quiet and follow the group. All right.
Now he'll be leading the group.
So, the night goes without any problems. Since no one really abused of alcohol, a bottle shared between 3 people is not enough to be very drunk. You might have been a little tipsy by the end of the night, but that goes away with a little bit of sleeping.
Yeah.
So, all of you get up fairly early. Trevor, at what time would Trevor wake up if he hasn't been drunk?
Probably not at first light there, but 6, 7 probably, I think, somewhere around, well, probably about 7, I'd say.
All right. So, Valtteri and Tobiashi, you are the first one to emerge from your room. Probably very close to the same hour. The monk's life is a very disciplined one, and the druid's life follows the cycle of the sun, unless you're a druid that follows the cycle of the moon.
Okay. So as soon as I get out of my room, I'm going to. What is it? What does it look like outside?
It is mostly cloudy. There are a few moments where the sun actually managed to pierce through the cloud cover, but never lasts. It's mostly cloudy.
Okay. I'm going to go downstairs and wait for everyone to wake up. Order myself some food and some tea if they have some.
All right. Well, morning meal is included, and tea. Well, if you have tea leaves, you can make it yourself, or otherwise, you can always ask. But it's most likely going to cost something.
Would I have tea leaves? No, I wouldn't. Yeah, no, I need to buy some tea. Wait, so I'd have to go buy tea leaves, or I'd have to buy a cup of tea?
Well, it's fairly common, so you could actually just ask for tea at the desk, and they would most likely be able to give it to you.
Yeah, I'd ask them for some tea and eat my breakfast while wait for everyone to come down.
All right. So, Valtteri, you see Tobiashi just walking down the stairs, getting a little bit of tea. You don't see more than him and... Well, actually, you see the Dragonborn that was there the prior evening, and he seems to be getting ready to leave, probably in the next half hour. He's finishing to eat his meal.
Okay.
That's about all you can see except for the innkeeper.
I'll say good morning towards Toby and go sit down next to him, waiting for the others to wake up and come down as well.
I'll say good morning, and I'll just continue to eat and drink, and not really minding my manners.
All right. So what does this implies for Tobiashi not to mind his manners?
Well, not really. Yeah, just like burping, eating, drinking the tea. Kind of not like caring if I have stuff on my face.
All right. So you see Tobiashi just acknowledging you and groggily eating his morning meal, drinking his tea, wearing his belt on his shoulder instead of around his waist.
Yeah.
I was about to say something, but yeah, you never met Grim, so. I was about to ask if you are going to grim it.
Wait, am I noticing that, right?
Oh, well, you're just noticing
Yeah.
that he is. He basically looks in vacation. You know, he could probably redo his wrappings around his arms. His belt is on his shoulder instead of around his waist. His hair is a mess.
Do
That's
you
pretty
need
unusual.
help readjusting your clothing, or
I turn over to her, kind of take a drink, get the food out of my mouth. What do you mean readjusting my clothing?
I don't think a belt belongs there, and I'm like pointing at the belt.
Oh, I kind of readjust it, take it off, put it in the right place. Not really like perfectly, but just putting it on, and yeah. Not really fixing my hair either, just keeping it the way it is.
As he's drinking, you see a little bit of the wrapping dipping in his tea.
I can't watch that and readjust it myself and his hair.
So, do you want anything to eat? Anything at all?
Well, our room came with
Oh.
breakfast for the next
Yeah.
Oh
morning.
yeah, huh?
Yeah.
Never mind.
I was thinking of us all eating together, but
Oh shoot.
well, I'll
Oh.
quickly
Toby didn't
readjust
wait, so.
yours.
You didn't.
sorry
wait.
about
I'll
that, I
just
didn't-
quickly.
Usually when we wake up, everyone eats whenever they can. So.
I'll just quickly readjust your clothing and everything, and then get mine as well.
You see her hastily placing back your hair, trying to pull on your wrappings to make them tight again.
Well,
Look at her
first I'm
kind of,
doing the
like,
wrappings,
weirdly.
and like while we're talking, I'm like going through his hair, like.
You,
Oh, no.
you're having
I don't-
flashbacks of when
I
you
don't have
were
short hair,
maybe
don't I?
5 or 6 years old, and the monks were actually telling you why most of them shaved their head.
I'm just like, kind of like, finish eating. I don't know. I just look at
Val
her
has a
real quick and-
flashback from like 2 days ago having to do the same thing with Trevor fixing his hair.
I kind of loosen up
And I'm
my.
like lightly shaking.
I just kind of loosen up my wraps again, just a little bit.
Alright. So, Trevor, you would probably, unless you have something to do in your room, you would probably be coming down the stairs to this spectacle of Tobiyashi trying to eat while Valtteri is trying to make him more presentable and him just remaking himself less presentable.
Just my wrapping. And my hair, I'll leave. Everything else.
Alright, well, I guess as he starts coming down the stairs and seeing her fixing his hair, he'll just kind of stop there for a second and just watch until it's all done and then finish coming down.
You know, it looks like two cats. One of them is trying to lick the hair of the other one, and the other one just keeps pushing it away. And then licking himself again, right where the other cat was licking, just to cover the smell of the other one. I sort of have this feeling.
Okay. Alright. Alright, then he'll just come down and sit at the bar and just order his food. Just won't even say anything at the start, just sit down and order his food.
Alright, well, a few moments later, you see audience coming down the stairs. Looking absently with the same grin that you actually saw on his face the day that he saw the other monk. So you gather that he most likely spent his dream with her.
Gosh.
Oh boy.
So you know that it's when he's like that, you can talk, you can ask him anything. He's just gonna say, "Yeah, yeah."
Um. Well, do
So-
I see them walking down, or am I just facing the other way?
Well, yeah, you're at the counter. You're at the counter, and when you're with your high passive perception, yeah, you perceive them coming in easily.
I'll turn around, kind of like with some food in my mouth, and say, "Hey, Trevor. Good morning." Um.
So just kind of nod.
Come join us. I look at audience and just kind of nod him over too.
He nods distractingly.
Well, did he notice me standing at the top of the stairs just waiting for Val to finish what she was doing before I came down? Or he just there? I wasn't. I probably stayed just within sight there, so I don't know if.
No,
So he
actually,
started walking down.
actually, I think he got up a little after. You know, he had a drink, one drink more than you.
Yeah.
He finished
Okay.
the bottle. You know, that last bitter bit at the bottom.
Okay.
Did say that it wasn't high quality wine. You know.
Yeah. All right. But yeah, I just nodded, sit down at the bar when he called him over, and yeah.
All right. So it is morning. Is there anything you would like to do before leaving, or are you all ready to just depart?
No, just pretty much it. Eat,
Yeah.
drink,
Yeah. Trevor's ready.
All right.
get a Red Bull.
Same.
Well, then, in that case, it is a quiet morning. Everyone eats. Everyone looks at each other distractingly. Valtteri trying to do the mother. Tobiashi trying to do the good bad child. And Trevor just looking at this, pondering.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone leaves town.
Question.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. What is the
How
question?
was Trevor looking? Was he also like in a kind of like I just woke up like this state, or
Trevor, how are you looking?
Yeah, no, I didn't get drunk or anything, so I don't think I was too messy. You know, I took a normal night, I would say.
He looks like someone
Okay,
that
then
hasn't dry cleaned his clothes. But otherwise, he looks normal.
hair messy? Yes or no?
Tell you what. Well, I don't know if he'd really give a shit or not, but say evens, messy, odds no. Okay, yeah, it was a 4, so yeah, I say it was a little messy then.
So his hair is disorganized
I have
a
to
little bit.
adjust it. I have to adjust it.
So, Trevor, you do notice that Valtteri suddenly has the urge of doing the same thing to you as she was doing to Tobiashi. And actually, I believe you have a very high insight, passive insight.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
So
Plus 5.
I would say that from your passive insight, it does feel like she has a bit of a compulsive behavior. You do recognize the twitch from the I have to adjust this. No, yes, no, yes.
They'll let her do it, but he won't have the smile on his face as he did the other time. He'll just sit there and just let her do what she has to do.
All right. So you fix Trevor's hair, and everyone leaves merrily with hair well placed. Leave the town of Greening Hill.
Audience doesn't have hair, so I can't do that with him.
Now, Dragonborn have what looks like thick, ropey, scaly hairs. Very often in pictures, it feels like you're looking at tentacles, but it actually are thick, ropey hairs covered in some sort of scales. So Dragonborn
Yeah.
have hair, but they mostly look like scaly dreads.
Yeah, they're not going to get like bedhead where it's all over the place. Yeah.
So you all leave, and are you paying attention, or are you just hurrying along?
Same old with Tal. He'll have a quick look up and then just circle around us. But
Yeah,
nothing good.
I'll be keeping watch on the ground, kind of behind us.
Okay. And
Yeah.
Valtteri, are you helping
I'd also
Kobayashi
help.
or making a roll of your
Yeah.
own?
I'll help him.
And I'll be in the
I'll
front.
help him.
Oh, I think that was audience.
Yeah, trying to go as fast as he can, and now
Yeah.
because he's completely distracted, he doesn't look back and he just starts walking.
Well,
So
only got a
perfect.
14 for Tal, so
14, and Tobiyashi,
Yeah.
since Valtteri is helping you, you get to roll with advantage.
Okay, thank gosh, I rolled in that one. 21.
21,
Two plus
alright. Alright, so you walk for about an hour and a half, and you get to a fork in the road. Well, this is interesting. I don't think that audience knows
No.
where in the road he has to go. Alright, hour of walk. Well, we're gonna have to roll for it. So he doesn't wait for you, and okay.
well, just don't tell us because we don't know.
No, that's it. So he doesn't wait for you. After half an hour, you sort of lose sight of him, and the three of you get to the intersection, and you sort of realize that audience didn't know the name of the town, so he could have went up or down.
Well, we're heading north, so hopefully he's got a good enough sense of direction to keep heading up. So, best we can hope for. And he'll just keep moving the right way.
All right.
Yeah,
So-
that'd be the smartest.
So you all keep going up. After another 3 hour of walk, usually people will stop to eat. Are you stopping to eat, or are you walking throughout the day without eating?
Can I eat my rations and walk? No, just not.
Well, you can. Yeah, sure, you can. Doesn't make for good digestion, but sure, you can.
Well, Trevor will take out one of those servings of the dried meats that he got and just eat while walking. He'll offer Val some if she wants some.
Yeah, I'll eat my pear fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Valtteri,
I'll give-
Trevor
I'll
offers you dried
thankfully
meat.
take it.
You what?
I'll thankfully take it.
Oh, okay.
And I offer everyone a fruit.
Yeah,
And Tobiyashi offers everyone with a fruit.
I'll take it.
All right. So you keep walking for another 3 hours, and you think you're almost to the town. When Tobiyashi, you're the first to notice this. You can see the edge of the wood toward the south, and you see this weird spectacle. Can you still hear me, or are you out?
Apparently he's out.
Okay, well,
Maybe. I see him off to the side there.
no, that's his coat. He went the other way. He went the other way. Tobiyashi, are you still there? Well, maybe he had a problem and he had to take care of it.
There
Aha.
we go.
Are you still with us? All right. So Tobiashi is the first to notice this, but Valtteri and Trevor also notice it. You can see the edge of the wood toward the southeast, and for a moment you can swear that you see lights dancing inside the tree line. Faint light, sort of like watching fireflies, but it's still the day, so there isn't supposed to be fireflies that which can be seen during the day.
That's interesting.
They don't seem to be anything threatening. They don't leave the wood. They just keep dancing, and they actually do feel like they're just following a pattern. Some
They
of
can't
them,
hear you through the computer, babe. No.
some of them
I
are.
can hear you now.
Me?
Ah, okay.
Yes.
Oh.
We can even
Your
hear the
headset
television.
died, so I guess it defaulted to the webcam mic after that. So.
All right, so it does feel like they're dancing, small yellow lights dancing in the tree line, and they just keep moving like this for maybe half an hour.
I will just say that is weird. I know these are the woods that the kid told me about, because he said we'd have to come back down south a little bit to where they were. So, but I don't think that would be the creature that's killing a whole field of animals. They don't look that threatening.
Wait, so they're like firefly things? Sorry, I couldn't hear.
Yeah. You're the first one to notice this because of your perception rolls. You can see a little bit to the southeast where the forest is, because most of the time that you're really walking between the mountains to your left and a forest to your right. Each of them is about an hour of walk to get in, very inside of it, but you can see it from where you are. And from the forest, you can see small lights starting to move, dance. They feel like firefly lights, but it's still daylight, so it can't be that.
Mm-hmm.
They stay in the wood, but they just keep following you as you walk. They don't leave the wood. They just dance slowly.
I would say, wow. Look at those. It looks like they seem like they're following us.
Yeah, just kind of keep an eye on them as we're walking. Let's see.
Is his audience far ahead of us?
You can't see
We
him
don't even know
anymore.
where he's. Yeah, I have no idea where he's at.
Oh.
He just kept going
Could
and
I
going. You don't
use
even
a
know if you
spell?
saw this. Sorry?
Could I use?
I was thinking about doing one, but I was going to ask, could I ritually cast it while walking?
No, you can't really
Alright.
cast while walking unless you were in a cart. You would be able to, but no, you're just walking.
Okay, I wasn't sure on that, so.
And Valtteri,
Give you a piggyback grid.
I would like to try using speak with animals to them.
you're still very far off. They wouldn't hear you from where you are. You would have to make maybe 45 minutes of walk to get close enough to be able to talk to them.
Okay.
Like I said,
Oh.
it's where you are right now. It's about an hour of walk to your left to the mountains, and roughly an hour of walk to the woods on your right.
Like how many feet?
An hour of walk? I think it's almost a mile. You're close enough
Yeah.
to see the woods, and because you can see those lights, you know they're not fireflies. They would have to be fireflies the size of tennis balls.
Oh gosh.
But they are way deep in the woods. Gotcha. Okay.
Well, they're not deep in the wood. They are inside the wood, but they are at the limits of the woods, and they're just dancing slowly, turning around each other, just jungling a little bit.
Well, if I sent Tao
disappearing.
over there to get a closer look at them, how far are they? That's what that was going to be my next thing I was thinking about.
Well, to cover for an hour of walk, you'd probably lose connection with him before
Yeah.
he gets there.
I thought they were closer than that. Okay, never mind. Yeah, so I'm gonna say let's just keep moving, get some details once we get to the town, and come back and check it out.
All right. So you keep going forward, and roughly an hour later, you start seeing the sun coming down, and you cross the first grazing field of the town of Twarn, and you see this awful spectacle of old carcasses that have just been dragged out of the field and left on the side. They look mangled. Some of them even have limbs missing.
Let's see. Can I make a roll without really having to go too far out of my way to maybe kind of gauge what size creature did this to them? Or if it was more like a packed animal type of thing?
Well,
It'd probably move a little closer, but not. He wouldn't like stop and like investigate them, kind of thing. So.
Well, in that case, that would be perception. If you're not planning to go up next to them and really looking and seeing what this is, yeah, it's perception.
So 14 plus 3, so 17. Yeah.
17. You would say... First off, you'd say that this is not where the animal was when it died. It most likely was dragged because with the degree of wounds that are there, there's supposed to be a lot more blood. Second, you'd say it was hit from multiple slashing hits. And clean slashing hits, meaning it most likely was made from a weapon and not from a steel weapon, not from stone knives or claws.
Alright. Alright.
That's about all you can make out just by approaching without really examining it.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, he was just kind of taking a quick glance as we walked by, so he'll at least keep that to himself for now until we get to the town and can talk more.
Okay, what about Tobiashi and Valtteri? Do you do anything when you see these carcasses? Because there's more than one. It's not just one. Oh, okay.
20 minutes.
I was
If I
trying
remember
to.
correctly-
I was trying
If I
to shut it
remember-
down, but yeah, go ahead.
If I
Sorry.
remember correctly, carcasses are bodies, right? Like dead bodies.
Carcasses, animal
Yep.
carcasses.
Okay. What animals?
Mostly sheeps.
Okay, so no carnivores or anything.
Well, they are severely mangled. Some of them are even missing limbs, but most of the meat and also the entrails are still there.
Do I have to roll something to
If you
know
want to
that
get,
it was
if you want to get
like
up
what
close to
attacked it?
them and watching, you can either make. Well, if you make a medicine check, you're going to try and evaluate what killed it. If you want to make a nature check, it would most likely more to be able to discern if it was another predator or something like that. So, what do you want to know?
I want to know what killed it, so medicine.
Yeah.
That's an 18. That's 24.
Oh wow. Yeah. Well, she's a druid. So you look at this carcass, and it is very clear to you that this animal was cut to pieces by small blades, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, small blades.
So swords or like daggers.
Short sword, things of that size.
So
Repeated
not
hit.
So not really an
No.
animal
To you,
carnivore.
it's clear when you're looking at this. This is not a predator. This is an armed creature that slaughtered the animals.
I think we just found a trail of our goblins. That's what my character is saying to the others.
So yeah, kind of gathered that they were from blades as well from a quick glance. Yeah, didn't look like an animal. So yeah.
No, that definitely was no animal that was doing that.
Hey, Trevor.
Mhm.
Why do they not bury the animals?
Well,
I don't know. It's good. Would I know why goblins don't bury animals?
Well,
Or-
one thing.
Does it look like the people? Does it look like the people dragged him out here, or that the goblins dragged him out here?
Looks like something dragged it out of the grazing field.
Can we go around and see if it's tracked?
Well, if you want to go this way, you can make an investigation check.
Okay, yes. Natural one.
They're dead animals.
Then go up to one, just.
Yeah.
Well,
So, Trevor, if you want to make an investigation check to
Yeah.
see what Tobiashi wanted to discover.
that's my bread and butter there. So yeah, I'll actually give that a try. I'm proficient in it, so
You see Tobiashi just kneeling in front of the animal, starting to look at it, and he looks at you, concerned, and just
22 total.
22.
16 plus 6.
From this investigation check, you would say that they weren't hunting these animals. It was just slaughter. Most likely, the herders hastily tried to remove this from the grazing field, so the animals would not graze on other dead animals, or just make sure that the field would have been just clear of everything else. Also, make sure that the other animals couldn't get poisoned by an animal decomposing in their grazing field. But why wouldn't they burn the carcasses? Why did they just drag it out and leave it there? No, you don't. You're not sure.
Question: do I see like some, like already rotten, or more rotten than the others, like older carcasses?
Make a perception roll.
Yeah, Trevor will pass that info on to the both of them.
Can I look for dragon footprints? Dragonborn footprints?
18.
Okay. And you're looking for dragonborn footprint?
Yes, or signs of a dragon born.
Then I'd say it's a perception roll. So, Valtteri, your question was?
If some of the
Some of them
corpses
looks more
have been
decomposed.
more rotten than the others, like older. Or like longer dead.
Not where you are. However, you do see more carcasses further south. And you would guess by the fact that they've started to flatten out. They've been here for at least a week.
14.
14?
Yes.
No, you do not find dragonborn footprints. However, when you look around, it does feel like it probably rained earlier today here. So you don't think there are any footprints, but there might simply have been washed away by the rain.
Ooh. Well, still no signs of audience, so
Should we keep going?
Yeah, need to at least get to the town. How much daylight does it look like we have left now?
bring out my abacus. No, sorry.
I'd say you still have maybe 2 hours and a half of light, and you're probably only half an hour from the village center.
Yeah, I'd say let's at least get to the town, see if he's there. Because if we start trying to backtrack now, we're going to run out of light to try and find him.
Yeah.
All right. So you keep going, and when you actually get to the center of town, you do notice audience there, just mostly patiently waiting for you.
Yeah.
He chose the right path barely.
As we're walking up, I'll lean over to Valtteri and say, I think it's time we start working on your courage. You're going to lead the charge on the discussion on these.
On what discussions?
Talk to the people. Find out information. You've watched me do it several times now. Gotta get you over this uncomfortableness. It's kind of how the courage comes, you know.
I like
you
the
gotta
little
take
sound
it
that I
a step
heard.
at a time. Yeah. And I'm sure that's in character too. Yeah. Trevor just smiles, give her a little pat on the shoulder. It'll be all right. I'll stand there with you. If you stumble, I'll help you through it. But we need to work on it.
And what exactly am I supposed to talk to them about?
Find out any more information about this creature. You know, when's the last attack? You know, if anybody's seen it. You know, any kind of visual. You know, just any information they can. You know, let them lead the conversation if they want. You know, you just ask a question, and if they run with it, just let them talk.
Audience does tell you that he's been here for 3/4 of an hour, and he hasn't seen a single person in the town square.
Wow.
There is light in a tavern, so there are people in the town, but in the village, but they're keeping off the street.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you've seen what we've seen back there, and yeah, rightfully so, it seems. Did you gather any information from him, or did you even notice him since you were in such a hurry to get here?
Well, he looks at you and says, No, I haven't found anything. No one's here. I was waiting for you.
Did you even see the carcasses on the side of the road back there?
Yeah, I saw them, of course. But, you know, they're carcasses.
Yeah. didn't even think that it might be related, or never mind. Yeah, let's just go to the end.
He looks at you as though he is getting the fact that you're sort of patronizing him. But there is a hint of doubt in his mind that you might actually be honest.
Yeah, should go with his hunch. All right, well, we'll head to the end, I guess. And
All right. So you all walk in a town that in a village that is mostly deserted.
A ghost town.
Almost. There is a little bit of eeriness while you walk in the street. It is, again, another small village. It is mostly a dirt road. So you enter into this inn, and instantaneously you see everyone looking toward the door nervously. There are maybe a dozen people, and as you enter, the room goes completely quiet. They're all looking at you like birds watching someone walk on the road.
Who was the first one to get in?
Well, Trevor almost pushed you in, so I guess unless Tobiyashi wants to go first, you're the one
Trevor would
everyone's
have no
looking
problem walking in. Trevor would have no problem walking in first.
Yeah. No mind in the world.
All right. So Tobiyashi and Trevor are actually the first ones to enter this place. Probably followed by audience who's just looking around, missing the fact that there aren't any people learning about the dragons. And when he gets inside, there's sort of a, can I actually convince anyone of the dragons in here?
And I'm just literally hiding behind the big body of audience so they don't see me immediately.
And so you see, just over the shoulders of audience, two horns curling up.
Yes.
To say you're not going to find any information back there.
A few of them are going back to their meals, but I'd say there are still 6 or 7 of them watching you carefully.
Yeah. And Trevor will go and stand beside Valtteri, grab her arm, drag her a couple of steps off to the side there, and just loudly say, "We mean no harm. We're here from." Wait a minute, are we in Torn? Or is
Yes,
that the,
you are in Torn.
Okay. Then we just came from Greening Hills, and heard you guys have a problem with your livestock here. We'd hopefully maybe try and help you with it. So we're actually here to help. Mean no harm. And my companion here, if any of you have any information, you could talk with her about it.
You hear a woman, most likely in her 30s, answer, "You're here to kill the beast?"
He'll look to Valtteri and say, "I don't know, are we?"
I don't know, are we?
And just lead the charge.
I'm looking.
Well,
to
are you?
impress-
And Trevor will just be looking at her, nodding his head.
I'm looking to the woman like, yes. We saw almost the whole herd of sheeps all dead, probably a week already. on the way here, so we were kind of worried because we first heard that the other town had problems with goblins, but
This is not goblins. And you hear two other people starting to whisper inside the inn. These are not goblins. This is a creature. This is the creature from the wood. The one from the tales. And you hear someone say, yeah, the one from the tales. You see a human male stepping up and says, it comes during the night. Whenever their animals still grazing when the sun comes down, it just comes and it shreds them to pieces. Then it leaves.
has there anyone been of you who has already seen this creature before?
You hear a lot of whispers around you. No, but what could do this to an animal other than a creature like this? It's the creature from the tales. It has to be. It's the only thing massive enough to slaughter a herd in a single night. In a few hours.
Trevor's just staying quiet, just looking at that.
You hear someone saying in the background, but the stories, they don't say that it's evil. You hear another woman in the crowd saying, it has to be, it must have been corrupted, or maybe it never was a good creature. Maybe it only was there waiting for us to be big enough to have a whole lot of meals.
Well, I am a druid, so we will go take a look at this creature.
You see a woman coming from behind the inn counter. You'd gather it's most likely either the innkeeper or the wife of the innkeeper. She's a human, late 30s. And she says, you all look like adventurers. We don't really have any money to give you for this.
I don't really see if you having to pay us for helping you, so...
Adventurers rarely do things just because they're kind. They usually want money.
I look back at Trevor like, are we those or are we...
Trevor will lean in and say, I have 10 silver to my name. But then he'll also whisper to her, see if they have a description of what this, creature is supposed to look like according to their tales. Ask him if it carries weapons. The damage was done by blades.
As you're saying this, you do hear audience step up and say, you don't need to pay us, ma'am. We're just here to make sure that everyone is safe, that everyone is in good health. We're here to protect, to make sure that your lives are better.
Yeah.
Tobiashi, you sort of feels like you've seen the end of this, and you just know that he's holding back the desire to say, for the dragons.
Yeah, Trevor's just kind of rolling his eyes about no need to pay us. Like, yeah, speak for yourself. Yeah. Doesn't say anything.
I'll go back to the lady and do you know how the creature looks like, or maybe if it's carrying some weapons or something?
Not from the tales that our grandparents have told us, and our parents, and it is a creature, very large creature that lives in Tournai Woods. It is mostly seen during the night. Legend says that it was very friendly. actually protected the town, the village, 200 years ago. But since then, it's mostly been stories. They say that when it approaches, it feels like the trees comes to life. It in legends, it literally says that it tore to shreds an army of thief that came to the town trying to the village, trying to force everyone to pay for protection money. So it most likely is able to handle several creatures at once.
If I'm out of character, if I want to maybe see if I remember this creature of how they explain it to me, that I maybe know it, would that be intelligence or
history
wisdom?
or religion?
Okay. Let's go with religion.
Okay.
And while she's explaining that stuff, while she's kind of giving the description too.
19.
Okay. It does feel like you've heard stories like that before. She might be referring to a nature elemental. What kind? She describes so many different things that you're not sure exactly what sort of elemental it would be. Is it a small elemental that can actually control the forest? Is it a sort of swarm-like elemental, which actually is a multiple elemental, which would account for the multiple tree moving? But there are also references to very powerful elemental, which are on par with druids of high levels, and you know that druids can awaken trees. So it's a little bit vague. Could be any of these three options.
I was going to say, while she was explaining it to him, Trevor was going to lean in one more time and whisper, ask her if anybody knows what those lights are that was out in the woods.
So it would have been either a nature elemental.
It's most likely a nature elemental because of its connection to the trees. What elemental? You'd say that you've heard a description that would fit a small elemental that can control nature, a swarm of elemental, or a very large and powerful elemental.
Okay. I'll look at the one, and when we walked here, we saw like weird little lights deep in the forest. Do you maybe know what those could be?
You hear everyone talking, whispering around you when you mention the lights, and actually there's a halfling. You'd say it's a very young halfling, probably barely old enough to be considered an adult. He says, "You actually saw the lights?"
Yes.
You hear everyone start whispering again. They say that it's a good omen. When someone sees the light, they said that it's a blessing from the forest. We haven't seen them in almost a year.
Well, we did.
Trevor patted her on the shoulder. Well, you're the nature one. They must have liked you. You brought the omen.
We will try the best we can to help you people with this creature. Of what you've told me and of what creatures I've seen and heard before, I think it might be an elemental, but maybe it's even something else, but that would be my best guess so far.
Immediately when you say this, you hear a man, human male, probably in his late 30s, say, "Well, I hope you won't mind killing it because it's been killing everything we have."
I'm looking
Trevor
at her
say,
like,
well, if we go for it, yeah, we're going to kill it. Otherwise, it's going to kill us, and I'm not ready for that yet. He'll kind of get a little snappy back there.
question, does Walter even know how to kill an elemental?
From everything you've heard, you do not have what it takes to kill an elemental right now. Unless it is a very small and more crafty than powerful elemental.
I'm looking a little bit worried at Trevor and like whispering in his ear, like, killing an elemental, can be really tough. And if it's actually a really strong one, we won't be really able to kill it.
Yeah, just whisper back. Oh, we don't know until we see it. What would he know about elementals? I mean, I don't know. I know he knows Bob, but yeah.
Well, for you, it really would be either Arcana or History check.
What's my history? Yeah, I'll take Arcana. Shit, that's not bad. 17 plus 6, so 23.
Which is very similar to what Valtteri got for a roll. Well, of course, when you learn magic, because you also learn a little bit about conjuring, you have heard a bit about the elementals. There are a lot of elementals in this plane, and a lot of them are actually very friendly toward people. Some, not so much, but usually, unless you're meeting very classic elemental, those that seem to have been around for a while and walking this world for a while, they usually are friendly, so it doesn't really match the description that they're giving. As for what elemental it might be, you come to the same conclusion as Valtteri. It is either a very small one with a lot of means. If it is more crafty than powerful, you might have a chance. But if it's more powerful than crafty, you are right now outmatched. If it is a swarm of elemental, same thing, you're probably outmatched. If it is a powerful, large elemental,
Most definitely.
You should try to talk to it before attacking.
And after thinking about it for a bit, he'll say to Val, "Well, we've already got the good omen, so what could go wrong? Yeah, we can at least check it out." Yeah.
Okay.
Have some confidence.
It's hard having confidence when knowing that a strong elemental could easily just kill us, but
Yeah. Well, that's why we're here. We said that we figure we try and help. I mean, might not necessarily be one. We don't know, but at least check it out and find out.
that is the point. I hope more that it's goblins than
Then
an elemental.
you hear someone say, "Well, if you want
We'll
to
handle it once we get there.
Sorry?
What did you say, Toby?
Tobiyashi, I didn't hear.
Sorry, nothing.
Okay.
I was talking to someone.
You hear one of the villagers said, "Well, if you want to go hunting for the beast, you're right on time. Sun is about to set, and it mostly hunts at night." And he points to the door, saying, "Good hunt."
Trevor just clap his hands together and run. Say, "Well, now's as good as time as any."
You hear the innkeeper come to you and says, "How about this? We don't have any money to give you, but you can keep anything you find in the woods."
Okay. Fair enough. One request. Do you have
If
any
we-
wine? Can I get a glass of wine before we go?
She looks at you, a bit taken aback by this.
If I don't come back, at least I'd like to have one last drink just in case.
Sure. I mean, we haven't been receiving a lot of wares recently, but I'll see what I can do. And she does come back with an extremely dusty bottle of wine, saying, well, it's been here for a while. It might be good wine, it might be vinegar. So, here. And she gives it to you.
Okay. Well, I was going to ask for a freebie anyway, so that works. All right, off we go.
So I want to ask Tobiyashi, how much more time can you give us tonight?
Not really sure.
If you say 10 or
I'm
15 minutes, I'd say I will go as far as you entering the forest and maybe looking around a little bit. If you say you need to go right
10,
now,
15.
10, 15 minutes? All right.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure we're not going to get in the fight tonight, so, yeah.
No, but if I can get
Get as
you
close as we
I-
can,
yeah, exactly. So hopefully the next game you will start directly there.
Yeah.
So, well, you enter, you leave the inn and you prepare, and you just start walking out the town. There's only one exit going to the south, and after an hour of walk, maybe an hour and 15 minutes, you get to the edge of the wood.
And as we're walking out there, we just look at Val and say, see, that wasn't so hard to get the information, was it? As he's opening the wine to see what the hell he's got here,
Okay, well, what do you have?
Is it really that smart to drink before a fight?
If you're going to go out, might as well go out happy.
You actually have aged wine.
Oh, hey. Take a swig. Is it a sweet one? Bitter? What?
Well, red wines are the only ones that can hold long, so...
Yeah, well, you don't know how mistle fruit holds up as wine, so it might be weirder stuff. I'd say slightly sweet, with a sort of a nutty flavor hidden at the end.
Yeah, this one's better than the other ones we've had. Give this one a try. Hand her the bottle.
No thanks.
Just a taste. You don't have to take a whole mouthful. Just a little swig. This one tastes a lot better than those other ones.
For persuasion.
That's persuasion. No, I'm actually proficient in that. It's an 18.
Do I have to roll something against that?
Well, I'd say if it's persuasion, oppose a charisma roll to it.
Okay. Great, I have 0 on that. 15, yeah.
You just taste it. You just stick your tongue on the bottle and just tip it back, just to, far as he cares.
Yeah, she's taking a little nip.
It's sweet with a little nutty taste at the end. All right.
Still, no. We'll find one that works for you, and he'll cork it and put it back in his bag.
Of course, you can immediately recognize also the taste of alcohol, which burns slightly at the the back of your throat. You're so not used to this that you recognize it immediately.
Yep, I'll get her acclimated to it. While we're walking, so you want a little hit before we get going, Toby? Audience?
No.
Okay.
Audience will take a swig.
Okay. There you go.
He drinks the whole bottle
That's what a Dragonborn swig is.
with
Yep.
just one sip.
No, actually, he rolled high enough to realize that it would be impolite to do so.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
Okay,
so
all right,
you
now we're at the
enter.
woods. Yeah.
You enter the wood. The night will be upon you in maybe an hour. But if you enter the woods, it's going to feel like it's night. How are you going about looking for this creature or creatures?
I would guess we could start from the sheeps. See
Well, I
if it's
think we
trying
should-
to hunt something again.
We should just have a base camp or somewhere we could come back to just in case.
Well, the town can act as a base camp, but if you want a base camp inside the forest,
Yeah, just in case we get lost out here.
okay, well, right now you're on a road. There is a little road that keeps going inside the forest. They did say that it's the only way to get out of this duchy if you want to leave. So there is road, and you can assume that there probably are a few more roads inside the forest.
Alright, so what do you guys think?
I don't know.
I think move in a little bit and see, and just keep an eye out. I can send Tao up ahead, circle around us, keep an eye on if anything's
All right.
going
Well,
to approach or not.
Well, let's head off.
all right. Then Trevor, make a perception roll for Tao, and if you want to look around, I'd say Tobiashi or Valtteri, you can make a roll. Tobiashi, you can make it with advantage if Valtteri decides just to help you.
I will help him and give him guidance.
Okay.
You can roll a
Finally.
d4 with it.
Yeah, finally a good roll for Tao. That's 19 plus 3, so 22.
22. All right, Tobiashi, you can roll with advantage.
That is 19.
And a
19.
d4.
Did you add your d4?
Oh,
She gave you guidance, so
23.
a d4, not 4.
You have to roll a d4.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow, yeah. That makes a lot more sense. 20.
20. All right. Well, actually, Tobiashi and Trevor. Yes, you were about to say something.
Oh, I was going to say he's got an advantage on sight and hearing, so if he doesn't see anything, he might still be able to hear
Yeah.
something too. So
Actually, you just rolled high enough to find something inside the wood. It does feel maybe about an hour later, as though you're hearing something move in the wood, something large. It is not close to you. With a perception as good as this, you'd say that you really would have to leave the path and go into the more thicker parts of the woods. But it does feel like you've heard something moving.
he's looking through Tao's eyes as he's sending them. And imagine we're just standing here while they're looking around, and he'll relay that as he's flying around. I said, "There's something big out there. I hear something moving, but it's deep in the woods, so we're gonna have to go in there and off the path, most likely,
And
for a good ways."
Tobiashi, you do agree with that, because with your perception roll, you hear this just a little bit after Trevor says it.
Yeah, there's definitely something out there. I think we should follow this way until the sound goes off the path.
Yep, and I won't be watching through his eyes, but I'll break the contact. I'll say I can keep Tao up 100 feet ahead of us, and he can communicate with me if he can follow the noise and keep it.
So right
He
now,
can lead us to it.
So right now it is night. So it is pitch black. You're inside the woods. Unless you have a light source, only those with dark vision can actually see.
Good thing I'm a tiefling.
Trevor will take out that Tau-shaped rock and cast light on it, so he's got a little bit of a light source.
Okay.
This is his light cantrip.
Good. All right.
I'll just try to keep my eyes adjusted to the darkness.
So you move more to the edge of this light,
Yes.
so to not be blinded by it.
Yeah.
All right.
I can only cast it on one thing at a time, so I can't give you one, too, unfortunately.
All right. So for the next hour, make another perception roll.
Alright.
Guidance.
I guess for Tao, too. Alright.
Can I even give it to Tao when he's flying?
It's a concentration
not-
spell. You can only give it to one person at a time.
Yeah. He would have to land, and then you give it to him, and then take off again, but his is 19 this time.
Okay.
I give Toby advantage and guidance.
That's a 19.
With the
What's the
guidance?
D4?
With the guidance, yes.
All right. So the roll was not as good. However, since you were going in the right direction, you actually do find some odd clearing, as though something very large stopped there for a while and then kept on going. Because of that, now you can actually try and find tracks instead of simply looking around and trying to perceive. So you can either keep going with your perception roll, or you can do a nature check for tracking.
Okay, I'll do perception. Yeah, I'll do perception.
All right.
Look for
Can
scratches
I
on the-
even track, or...
If you have nature ability, if you have the... Yeah, sure.
not
Anyone can
proficient
try
in
and
it.
track. It's a nature check. It's a nature roll.
Yeah, and I'm proficient in it, so, in nature, so...
Yeah.
So
I'll
Tobiashi,
let-
you do not roll with advantage, though.
14.
14, all right?
And
Trevor?
I'll give Toby guidance.
Okay.
15.
All right. Trevor for Tao.
17.
17.
I rolled an 8. I rolled an 18.
18. All right. Right now, Trevor, you're not perceiving anything, meaning it either has walked outside of your range of perception or it is not moving. Valtteri, you are barely but successfully able to follow the tracks on the ground. It does seem like the creature is moving northbound toward the grazing field of thorns.
Okay. Uncomfortable. Because that is...
Was Tao heading that direction? I was going to say if he was, once he gets out to that 100-foot range, I was just going to command him to go perch in a tree and just listen.
All right. Well,
Just be stationary.
yeah, well, you can just go on the tallest tree that we can and start listening. Of course, you can do
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
So the tracks are leading into the...
They're
Thorn
leading
bushes.
outward toward the edge of the forest. You've been walking 3 hours inside the wood. You think you're pretty deep inside the woods, but now track seems to be going back toward the edge of the forest, but not toward the path. It is carving its own path.
Okay. Is the footprints fresh, or are they a little bit older?
You'd say that they've been left here probably at the same time that you entered the forest. So you'd say that you are maybe 2 or 3 hours behind it.
Okay. So speak with animals wouldn't work.
I know Tao was only 100 feet ahead, but from what Val was saying from the tracks, is he perched out in the right direction, or do I need to bring him back?
No, it does seem that you have to bring him back. He's
Okay. I'll just summon him back to me directly
all
then.
right. So what do you do? It's 3 hours in the night right now.
Set up camp.
I mean, we are really close to the creature now, and
Yeah. That's,
It doesn't
seems
seem to
like
be
it.
moving with haste.
I mean, but do you guys want to fight in the night?
no, but maybe if we are able to like track it down without it noticing us, we might know where it's. Maybe if it's not an elemental, maybe nest is or where it
Yeah.
stays most
Not
of the time.
necessarily have to fight it tonight, but at least see what we're dealing with.
Get more knowledge so we are able to prepare.
All right. Well, let's keep heading that way then.
If we get a good opportunity to get to jump on it, yeah, maybe. But yeah, let's
You
at least see
can-
what see what we're dealing with.
You can keep following the tracks toward the edge of the forest, or you can try to stay in the forest, make camp, and try and find his lair, according to what you just said. Of course, you do know that mountains, forests, and swamp are usually the most dangerous of environments.
Well, if you guys want to keep going, game.
If you keep
Well, I'm
going
not-
straight into a direction, you're eventually going to find yourself at the end of a forest.
Well, depending on where the tracks are leading us.
Right now, you estimate that they are leading you to one of the grazing fields outside of the forest to the north. So, closer to the town. The village, sorry.
Maybe if we set up a camp near the sheep so we can look out from there.
Sounds like an idea.
This place that we're in, it's like an opening, right? Like
It's more like a giant bear sat there, so everything's been flattened a little bit, but it's not a clearing.
Okay, so, I don't want to say, how does the dirt look shifted, or does it look, a little bit more matted down?
More matted down.
And, okay, so, it could come back here.
Good.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Maybe we could set up a trap here and wait for it.
If it's going back to the fields, like Belle said, it's probably going to look for some dinner right now or something to kill.
And it might come back here to come and sleep.
Question of where the fresh footprints are. Are they also like older footprints that show like that this is a route the creature takes a lot of times?
With your roll, I'd say no. It doesn't seem to be like a well-traveled road. However, you do know that some elemental can innately, so especially those associated with nature, can innately cast travel without trace. One way or the other, you have two choices. You can either try and stay there in the middle of the forest, with because you had conflicting reports. You could find yourself in the middle of a swarm of elementals, or you can keep moving, find yourself in an ambush. You could get out of the tree line and technically be more safe. But then again, that would most likely end your search for the night.
Well, everybody's thinking about it. Trevor taking a drink of his wine there.
So if everyone is too tired, I don't mind ending the session here.
Yeah, I gotta go.
You can keep thinking about this during the week. Next time when we take it up again, you will have had time to decide whether you want to make a camp here, wait for the creature, or keep hunting for it.
Okay.
So,
Big
for...
trench, Sunshine.
Sorry?
I said, can anybody dig a big trench? We're gonna trench.
Alright, so... Thank you everyone for watching. Sorry for the technical difficulty. Unfortunately, this is the problem with internet. And for those who might have missed the past episode, you can go on our YouTube channel, you can watch it. For lore that you might be wondering about or change to the rules, there's a Patreon. I promise I will update it this week or next week. As for support, well, you can always follow us on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. There's a whole bunch of panels under, where links. And if you want to support us so that the stream keeps going for as long as it can, you can always make a donation or support us with Patreons. And this is where we're going to end for tonight. See you all next Wednesdays.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.